Everyone for our regularly scheduled city commission meeting. It's good to see a full house. Our first order of business is we're going to stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First order of business is we have the consent agenda to consider.
I'll make a motion that we approve.
I second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, on our regular agenda, item number 3, we're going to consider a proclamation declaring the April 28, 2023 as Arbor Day in Newton. Jackie.
Good evening. I am Jackie with the City of Newton Park Department, and we would like to proclaim Arbor Day as April 28th this year. Currently, we have 2 Arbor Day celebrations that we have planned. One is on the 28th with Northridge Elementary with a 3rd grade class there, which will be 31 kiddos at about 8:15 in the morning. And then we have another one planned, had a little bit of scheduling difficulty, but it's going to be with 2 first grade classes at Sand Creek Elementary, and that one's going to be Thursday. Sorry. It wasn't me. That'll be May 4th at 9:40 a.m. with 42 kiddos. At that time, we will obviously plant a couple trees in those locations, or a tree in each location, and we will hand out trees that the park department has grown from seed or acorn to each kid that is participating. That is something we've done for the last several years. So each kid gets to go home with a tree. We keep our fingers crossed that they plant them somewhere. If we even get 2 of them planted, we're better off. So Arbor Day celebration is one of the requirements for us to continue to receive Tree City USA and Tree Cities of the World recognition or status. For the year 2022, we were recognized as a Tree City USA for the 47th year. We are tied with 3 other cities in the state of Kansas, which is Clay Center, Junction City, and Dodge City, for being, those 4 cities have been in since the inception of Tree City USA. So we're tied with them. This is our 4th year with Tree Cities of the World. Again, we have been in since the inception of Tree City of the World, and we are the only city in Kansas that's recognized in that at this point in time. So hopefully more will jump on board, but we'll see. So I will go ahead and read the proclamation if you're ready. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraskan Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska, and Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world. And whereas trees reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cutting heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource giving us paper, food for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. And whereas trees have been recognized by the city whereas Newton has been recognized as a Tree City USA by the National Arbor Day Foundation and desires to continue its tree planting practices.
Now therefore, I, Leroy Kane, Mayor of the City of Newton, do hereby proclaim April 28, 2023 as Arbor Day in the City of Newton, and urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And further, I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations. Dated on this day, the 25th of April, 2023.
All right, thank you.
Mayor,
Thank you.
I move we accept the proclamation declaring April 28th Arbor Day.
I second that.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
All right, thank you.
thank you.
Well done.
Thank you, Jackie.
Okay, item number 4, we're going to consider a proclamation declaring May as Bike Month and May 15 through the 21st as Bike to Work Week, May 3 as Bike to School Day, and May 19 as Bike to Work Day.
Hey, we just got them all at once, though. So I am Lori Kessler. I'm with Walk and Roll Harvey. So we have a proclamation for Bike Month, Bike Week, Bike to Work Day. And the proclamation is, whereas the bicycle is an economical, healthy, and convenient and environmentally sound form of transportation and an excellent tool for recreation and enjoyment of Newton's scenic beauty. And whereas the city of Newton is implementing bikeway improvements throughout the city to encourage and facilitate safe and convenient travel by bicycle. And whereas the city of Newton's roads and trail system attracts bicyclists each year, providing economic, health, transportation, tourism, and scenic benefits. And whereas the League of American Bicyclists, Walk and Roll Harvey, bicycle clubs, schools, parks, recreation departments, police departments, hospitals, companies, and civic groups throughout the country will be promoting the bicycle as a leisure activity as well as an environmentally friendly alternative to the automobile during the month of May 2023. And whereas the education of bicyclists and motorists as the proper safe operation of bicycles is important to ensure the safety and comfort of all users.
Now therefore, I, Leroy Kane, Mayor of Newton, Kansas, do hereby proclaim May 2023 as National Bike Month in Newton, the week of May 15 through May 21 as Bike to Work Week, May 3 as Bike to School Day, and May 19 as Bike to Work Day, and I urge all residents to join me in this special observance. Sign this 25th day of April 8, 2023.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you.
When is Dust Off Your Bike Day?
That would be the 30th of April.
Ah,
Okay, item number 5, we're going to receive a presentation from the Healthy Harvey Coalition for Tobacco-Free Parks and Trails in Newton. I believe that is the Health Department.
Good evening, City Commissioners, fellow residents. A cigarette can take 1 to 10 years to decompose. A vape can take 1,000 years. My name is Alini. This is Taylor Reddington. I work at the Harvey County Health Department and represent the Healthy Harvey Coalition. When working with the Parks Department, it was brought up to us that tobacco was a problem in our city. How big of a problem? Taylor will show you.
So we went to different parks throughout Newton. This is a container from tobacco products found at 10th and Ash Park. This one from Athletic Park. And this and this from Midtown Arboretum.
Now, I was asked by someone that lives at Midtown Towers during the cleanup when they were on a cigarette break at the park. I was asked if this was an annual thing so that they can put it on their calendar for every year so they would know that we're doing a cleanup. And I ask that this not become an annual thing. And there is a way that you guys can help us with that. And that is with signage and an ordinance. There are 3 reasons why. Number 1, no amount of secondhand smoke is safe, according to the American Association of Pediatrics, which supports this kind of ordinance. Number 2, for over 30 years, cigarette butts have been the single greatest item on ocean litter in the oceans. Do you want this in the Armico Park? And 3, we don't allow drinking in our parks. Why would we allow vaping, especially if vaping can contain other drugs than nicotine? Smoking is not allowed in this room. Can we protect the place that our children call their special place? What is Newton's legacy in 1,000 years? Please allow us to work with the legal department to draft an ordinance for this issue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That visual's worth 1,000 words, right there.
Wow.
And Mayor, no action was anticipated on this evening. It was just for you all to receive this information and the presentation on behalf of the Healthy Harvey Coalition and the County Health Department. If it is the, excuse me, if it is the desire of the governing body for us to proceed with something like this, staff would be happy to work with the Healthy Harvey Coalition and look into what all the ramifications of this might be, whether it's an ordinance or designated areas for smoking or smoke-free parks or trails or those kinds of issues. So I'm kind of just seeing head nods that you want us to go ahead as staff to work with them and see what all the options might be.
And how they're policed.
Yeah, exactly. And the enforcement will always, of course, be the issue. And I would defer to Chief Dunleavy if you have any comments, sir, at this time, or no.
That'd be great.
Yeah, and obviously look at some other similar sized cities as ours to see what they do or aren't doing and that kind of thing, so. Okay, let's move on to item number 6. We're gonna consider a request for snow fencing at Washington Park, extra handicap parking at Athletic Park, picnic tables and trash containers for the Mexican-American Fast Pitch Tournament to be held June 30 through July 2, 2023.
Yes, Mayor, I'll take that one. This is a request that we get every year from Stan Estrada, and the Mexican-American Fast Pitch Tournament is happening June 20th through July 2nd. It will be happening both at Athletic, 3 places, Athletic, Washington, and also at Centennial. So they want to block off or rope off, so to speak, the area on Washington so they can charge admission for there. They also asked that we put up extra handicap parking spots at Athletic Park, which we have done for years for that. And staff has looked at this and is okay with this request. Recommend approval.
I'd move that we recommend approval on that. Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that passes. And item number 7, we're going to consider a request for the use of Athletic Park and Okerberg Park for Sand Creek Summer Daze on July 7 and 8, and for Public Works Services, as well as permission to place a pontoon boat on Sand Creek.
I'll go ahead and take that one also. So this is a request from Sand Creek Summer Daze, and they are having their festival at Athletic Park, and they'll be doing some stuff at Okerberg Park as well on July 7th and 8th. They're wanting to have some picnic tables, some snow fencing, as well as trash containers. There's a map in your packet for you to see what they have in there. Staff has visited with them, and it's okay with this. I think that Greg is here, that he would wants to maybe talk a little bit about the pontoon boat. Or, yeah. In general, that's fine.
Addressing the pontoon boat, basically it'll be like the very first year that we did with the parade up and down the creek. All we want is permission to run the pontoon boat from the boat dock on, I think, 4th Street, 3rd Street, up to Broadway, no further than 1st Street. What we're going to do for the first, in the mornings, do historical tour. We'll have a person from the Historical Society giving the history of Newton while the people on there go up and down the creek. The second 4 tours will be a musician playing live on the boat, just to help entertain people so they actually have a chance to say, I rode on a boat on Sand Creek. And it's pretty special if you had a chance to do that. No one does anymore. So secondly, I want to say that our volunteers are extremely grateful to the city and staff who allow us to entertain and bring this community together every summer for the last 5 years. I want you guys to realize how much that means to us. We're also proud to be in the Choose Newton program to help bring companies and families to our wonderful city. I want to say thank you so much for your time and effort to help us out. We really appreciate that.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
And I'll abstain. I'm on that committee.
Yes.
All right.
Same with the next one.
So item number 8, we're going to consider a request for a temporary alcohol permit for July 7 and 8 for the Sand Creek Summer Daze in Athletic Park.
Yes, this is a application for the alcohol permit for Athletic Park for those 2 days. On the application that was in your packet, the dates were the 7th and 8th, but the temporary alcohol permit was $100. We hadn't changed that. This was sent in before we had that change, but it is $25 per day, so that the cost was $50, and we have received that. And they have met all the requirements that we have for this, so would recommend approval.
Do we need to strike the pontoon?
That has, yes, that we cannot have the pontoon boat on, is it on here?
It's a dot on the map, at least, in the middle of the creek. So,
Yeah, that will be for them to turn into the state. They have to provide that information to the state. So that'll be part of what they need to turn into the state and not have that part there. We can only license the land. We cannot license on the water.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that passes. Item number 9, we're going to consider a resolution for the Carriage Factory Gallery to serve complimentary alcoholic beverages or cereal malt beverages at events promoting the arts.
I'll take that one also. So this is a new thing. The Carriage Factory Gallery is wanting to serve alcoholic beverages and cereal malt beverages to the general public for their upcoming events that they are having. They have a list that is in your resolution of dates that they will be having exhibits and celebrations. And this is KSA allows for this to happen for nonprofits that are promoting the arts. And the application that they have to turn in has a part where they have to have a resolution from the city that says it's okay for them to be doing that, even though it's on private property. And staff would recommend that they could go ahead and do that.
And the number?
Sure. I should have given that to you. G1306.
I would move that we approve Resolution G1306.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that passes. Item number 10, we're going to consider participation in the KDOT Federal Fund Exchange. Suzanne?
Yes, Commissioners, the Federal Fund Exchange Program is a voluntary program. It is, they are funds that come from the federal government, but they're passed through to the state. They don't come directly to us. And the state has set this program up. It is surface transportation program funds and highway bridge program funds. And over the years, the dollar amount that gets exchanged has changed, but we are back to 90 cents on the dollar. We do need to specify the projects that we would be using it on, because this is by reimbursement request only. So I have to have reimbursements for this year's funds turned in by September. So we have to show invoices and everything that we spend this on. So I'm suggesting, in the past, we've used it for multiple different projects, but I'm suggesting that it gets used for annual mill and overlay program, the city street maintenance slurry program, and the K-15 highway improvements that are coming. We are receiving some C-CLIP funds. That project will be coming to you at a future meeting, but there's still a local match, and we might be able to utilize this. So I'm listing several because we do have to have the reimbursement turned in, and whatever project happens first, that's what I like to turn in first, so we get the money back in our account instead of at the state level. So the reason that it makes sense for us to exchange the 90 cents on the dollar. We could not enroll in the program and use the dollar, but then we have to put all of our projects out and utilize specifications, federal government specifications. I believe that we get better bids on our projects when we utilize our local specifications, that our local contractors like to bid it better under specifications that we have prepared. There's a reduction in environmental documents. The plans are developed here locally, and it meets our local needs. We avoid many of the restrictive federal provisions, and there's more flexibility in the project selection, et cetera. The amount of funds that we would receive this year, the exchange is for $251,981.43. That means we would receive back $226,702.29. If you would approve us participating in the federal fund exchange program and authorize me to sign all of the related paperwork, we can move forward with this.
I would move that we participate in that again.
I'll second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that passes.
Thank you.
Item number 11, we're going to consider a real estate option contract with Watco for the sale of approximately 23 acres of real estate located in the Kansas Logistics Park. Chris?
Suzanne, I'll go ahead.
Yeah, Commissioners, Watco, the K&O Railroad, approached the city about purchase of property that's shown on the screen there. This is out at the Kansas Logistics Park. It's in the Hauk Addition. It's between Southeast 9th and Southeast 12th, just east or just west of Hillside and east of Industrial Drive. And so it's the property, Kelly's kind of got the cursor on it. So we're looking at 23 acres. And what you have before you this evening is a purchase contract, an option purchase. And so they are saying that at some point in the future, they would like to purchase this property, and they have a certain period of time in order to exercise the option. The cost of the option is $15,000, and the cost of the property, should they choose to exercise this option, would be $15,000 per acre, and the $15,000 that they have put down for the option would be applied towards the total price of the land. If they choose not to exercise the option within the allotted period of time, which would be prior to 5 p.m. on September 30th of this year, then the $15,000 stays with the city, and they walk away and choose not to purchase. This evening, we have Lauren Bradford here, and he is representing the purchaser, or the potential purchaser, if you will, and he can share with you maybe some information about why they are considering this property.
Sure. Thank you, Suzanne. Yeah, K&O Railroad, parent company Watco, we have been working with Suzanne, City of Newton, ED department to promote the Kansas Logistics Park rail service to it. Our one constraint in servicing that park, though, is that we have very limited, almost non-existent track and switching space here in Newton. In order to service the park with anticipated potential growth that we see for the area, we're trying to be proactive, get out ahead of that, and secure some land that we might be able to build a yard in that would then participate and support any kind of economic development opportunities out there in that park. We anticipate being able to get a yard of anywhere from 120 to about 200 rail cars into that footprint there, which would give us a pretty substantial, one, investment in the community, and two, ability to serve current, future, and any kind of development opportunities out there. So just like I said, trying to get out ahead of it, would like to get in on that and make sure that we have some land there secured. And then we can start our planning process for how that impacts and any kind of business that comes our way.
Sounds good.
It's just a regular vote.
Approve the option agreement if you find it suitable. Any questions, we'll stand for them.
I'd move to approve the option agreement as presented.
I will second that.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that is passed. Item number 12, sale of property. We're going to consider a purchase sales agreement with Mackey & Sons for property located in Lot 10, Block 1, Interurban Addition.
Commissioners, this is an actual sale of land, and so you would be considering the sale of 1.12 acres. This is in the inner urban edition, which is on the north side of Sharps Drive, just west of Boyd Avenue. The property to the southeast of the area that is being considered for purchase is currently owned by Mackey and Sons, and so they're trying to square off their property there, and they are looking at some expansion on that site. It may involve a building at some point, but they wanted to secure this at this time. They would be paying $15,000 per acre, which equates to the $16,800. And so if you are willing to sell the property, we would ask you to consider the agreement that's before you this evening.
I would move that we,
Yeah, it'd be two steps. One would be to approve the PSA, and then the subsequent resolution that authorizes the sale, should you want to go forward with this transaction.
I'd move that we approve the PSA.
I second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that passes. Then the next one is to consider the resolution, and what's the number?
G1307.
Make a motion to approve G1307.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. And then item 13, we're going to consider the amended certified local government agreement. Rebecca.
Yes, so this agreement isn't necessarily amended. It is a new agreement we are entering in. If you remember at your last meeting, we dissolved the current certified local government agreement as we dissolved the Historic Planning Commission it was working for with North Newton. As you already did earlier this evening, through consent agenda, the mayor made appointments to the new planning commission that it will act as the Historic Preservation Commission. So if you will approve the agreement before you, we will continue our status as a certified local government upon receipt by the Kansas Historic Preservation Office, who will forward it to the federal government, the Department of the Interior, with those applications from those appointments made tonight, and they will sign from there.
I'll make a motion. Oh, did you have a question? Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I was going to move that we accept that. But
Okay,
you
I'll second
go
it.
ahead.
I'll
Okay.
second.
Okay.
Okay, motion, second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that passes.
Thank you.
Next up, Donna is going to give us some good news.
Well, we haven't started the budget yet, but we're just handing out the first of the informational packets that we want you all to look through. We're not going to have the regular work sessions like we always have, because you've all been through it several times. So we're just giving you the information. The department head and myself are on call. If you have any questions, just be sure to ask. And we'll be handing these out the next 3 or 4 meetings so you can have all the information you need before we come together and find out what our valuation is and start the real work.
And as a reminder, we won't get that valuation until
1st of June.
1st of June-ish, first week or 2 of June. So we will be hosting budget work sessions following that, and those will be mainly focused on the general fund.
Well, at that time when we do meet, will we have that helpful spreadsheet that that shows
Helpful.
the reality of what we're having to look at and consider, and based
Like
on
we've had
what
before?
we decide or against, and the mill, the whole thing?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yep,
yeah.
we will have all that for you. So what's in your packet tonight and what will be coming to you on several upcoming agendas for different departments, as Donna mentioned, most of those are impacting the general fund directly. And remember, we also have what are called enterprise funds that do not come from the general fund, and those would be Meridian Center, Sand Creek Station, the airport, the utility funds. Those are separate. You'll still get the information. This is just basically the history and budgetary numbers looking back several years and projecting forward several years, and number of employees and those kinds of things for each of the departments. But again, since the general fund has frankly been in the most distress, and that's the one we've been focusing on, rightfully so. So we just wanted to make sure we were getting out in front of it and getting you that information ahead of time to review at your leisure.
Okay.
So take any action or just,
Nope.
Yep, no action needed unless you have
Accept.
questions. And
okay.
Just receive it.
Yep, and if you have other questions going forward, like Donna mentioned, please feel free to reach out directly to Ms. Donna or to the department head or to me, and I can absolutely forward it to the right person, and we will get you whatever information you should need.
So do you need a motion to receive or?
Nope, nope, she's good.
And how long did these stay on this little pad? You know,
It's not just on your iPad. It is out there in cyberspace. Yes, it is on the city's website and it's on our agenda software. And those agenda packets are linked. I think they stay up for 5 years. Denise, is that correct?
Well, I mean, so for us to go back and look.
Oh yes, ma'am. Yep, just pick the meeting date.
Will they still be there? Because it seems like.
Typically, it's 5 years is how long we keep it out there.
On this little deal here?
Well, I don't know if it's specifically on your iPad. You may be saving it to your iPad, Commissioner, but it's on the website and anyone can access it.
On the website.
Yeah, on the website. Yeah, yep. There's an agenda portal, and you just click City Commission agendas, and then you just click the meeting date you want or need. And if you don't know, if you can't recall the meeting date, let us know, and we'll help you find the right date.
And if you can't find it, I will email it to you. so.
Okay, I just wanted something permanent.
Yeah.
Yep, you got
And
betcha.
so,
How hard would it be for you to put it on there the same way you do our meeting packet with a notation that it's a budget, so we don't have to search around for it? Is that hard? You see what I'm asking?
Yep. I'm looking at Ms. Aaron, because that would probably be something on the website versus the agenda software. Like, could we have a link for
I'm
budget
sure we can do.
stuff only?
You don't have to, but if
you
it's
see what I'm
not
saying?
hard, that way it'd be, I find myself digging around for which meeting you notify.
It's kind of like a rabbit warren, isn't it?
Yeah. Come to my house and go downstairs and look at my filing system. And then
It's a
you'll
trap,
understand.
don't do it.
Yeah.
On your agenda packet, though, you can, right now, that's why they're each of them linked under each one of them, so you don't have to scroll through all of them, but you can just go to that one and hit that one as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think maybe his question was, can we put all the budget stuff in one place, maybe even on the website as its own link? Am I understanding your question, sir?
Yeah, so that rather than.
Like 2024 budget, and here's the links
Yeah,
for the
instead of looking
presentations
at a
and.
specific meeting, it says budget data, number one, or budget data.
I do
Okay,
have,
she's saying yes, we can do that.
yeah,
So,
there is a budget
You
portion
can do anything.
that has the budget
Super Aaron to the rescue.
approved, so we can just add it to that, so you can have this information as well.
Maybe the next time you give us that, you can put this with that, and it'll all be in.
Yep, we can do that.
I'm still with paper. I still miss paper.
I can print it for you anytime.
I would say we'd be happy to print it for you.
It's fine. I have to, get better at doing this.
Me too, I like paper.
Are you saying that Aaron maybe needs a cape as part of a
I
daily
think she
dress
already has
code?
one. I think her cape is just at the cleaners perhaps this week, but.
Okay. All right, let's move on to Citizens Forum. First person up is Matea. There she is.
If I'm presenting this wrong, please let me know. If I present wrong, let me know. So we have, the overview is that we have a call for a rooster, that it's against city policy under 3107, and that we could learn more under 3801, which was a surprise to us. Before we just recently moved from Utah, when we came over, we read and we couldn't see anything specifically prohibiting, as well as there was in 3107 that we could have showbirds allowed. But we have been graciously given time to clear up that understanding, as well as see if it's possible to still follow policy while continuing caring for our pet. A little background is that my husband grew up in Mexico, a very small town. He's been in the States about 3 years. When he was there, he decided to raise fowl and create his own line to help bring funds to his family. And when he came here to work, to send funds to his family. We met, created a family. He hasn't been able to get back and has been missing home. And that was one thing that we decided on. We moved states partially because of that, so he could just start something of his own that reminded him of home. So he came here in a U-Haul, sold everything, came with our dog and our rooster and our chickens. So we are here, and then I've never seen him with such hope and contentment as when he started teaching our daughter about the rooster and telling her his stories of Mexico and how he cared for that and cared for his family. And you could tell that this town, in the short time we've been here, has become home. And that's been a connection to that. So I've loved watching that bond and loved learning that he has found Newton to be home and is excited to grow his roots here. So our proposal, I guess, is that we propose that we would be able to allow roosters under the policy 3107 as a showbird, or be able to update 3801 to include male chickens, similar to the process and terms in 3401, which states the process of licensing and registering your cat and dog with a rooster. Some suggestions for monitoring that process and needing as needed or desired to show that we could be responsible caretakers. We would be willing to follow that the bird could be licensed. You can have those little rings on their feet, similar to a dog tag for a dog. Keep them up to date on any vaccinations, health needs. I know that when I talked with animal control, one cause was for you don't want any cockfights. My husband said that that's usually when you crossbreed, and he likes to keep one line, keep it healthy for a showbird. So I don't know, some way of monitoring if you have more than one breed of rooster or fowl can help with that. And then you could even put in policy similar to 3204, which is dog fighting, for cockfighting if desired. Another was maybe sound that we thought of could be why that might be in place or might have gotten a notice. And our rooster sleeps when the sun goes down, wakes up when the sun comes up. We do understand that there can be a few crows in the early morning if the sun's coming up. And we have mentioned we'd be willing to, as long as he's in a dark place, he doesn't wake up, he wakes up with the sun. So we'd be willing to put him in a cage in the dark, like you just, they sleep in a box. And then he wouldn't crow until he's in the light, so we can take him out when that time is allowed, so 7, 8, 9, and that's when he would start his day. We have until Friday. We've been given until Friday to know if we need to send our rooster to a new caregiver, or if we're able to continue to care for our birds. So we would ask then if we would have time until this is decided to know if we need to send him away or not, and then maybe have reasonable notice of a month before needed to rehome him if he's not approved.
So has anybody, have you been given a citation or a notice, or has anybody talked to you from the city about this?
We did. We got a notice from Animal Control Officer, just letting us know that they have gotten a call from our south neighbor, and to let them, we just need to figure out a new home in a reasonable time and due to these policies. And so that's when we went on and tried to figure out kind of what was more specific in the policies, and it was a little bit vague.
And did the animal control officer give you a specific time, or that you needed to figure out what to do with him?
No.
So it's kind of open-ended?
Yeah.
Okay. You mentioned Friday is...
We had just talked about, I was trying to be more reasonable with her, letting her know, because she just said promptly. So I just asked what that looked like. I mentioned that, I mean, it costs money to send a live pet, and so if we did need to, we would want to send him to his family in Mexico. So I just asked her to give me time to get a couple paychecks in, where we just moved here.
And Mayor, if I may, just for the benefit of Ms. Matea and others who might be willing to speak this evening, excuse me, just so everyone is aware, no action is ever taken under Citizens Forum. You're welcome to present comments, and the commission's direction is just to receive those comments. They can ask staff to look into the issue or research the issue, whatever that might be, but no formal action will be taken, just for the benefit of those who might be here on other issues as well. So
that's okay. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate you coming.
Thank you. Okay, next person up is Jessica.
Also, Mrs. Jessica is approaching. If anyone else who is willing to speak this evening, if you could please be willing to give your name and address for the record for the city clerk, we'd appreciate it. Thank you.
I have packets that I made for the stuff that I'm going to go over. Can I hand them to you guys, or is it?
Sure. Sure, you may.
Just for reference for later when you guys are discussing it.
Thank you.
So my name is Jessica Grigorieva, and this is my son Owen, and I am here to discuss the possibility of the city allowing us to keep my son's emotional support animal. We received a phone call from animal control a couple weeks ago stating that someone had called in, not a complaint that our animal did anything, just the fact that we had a pig, because his emotional support animal is a potbelly pig. We have had her for 2 years, and she is part of our family. We love her a lot. So I have documentation here from Owen's medical doctor and from his mental health therapist stating that this animal is an emotional support animal to our son. He suffers from anxiety and depression that we go to medical providers for to help him. I also have the paperwork from that she's certified as an emotional support animal, and I have the paperwork here from the vet, because we take her to the yearly vet appointments and get her vaccinated against the things that the veterinarian says is fit for potbellies. And then she's also spayed. So some of the paperwork in here says about the surrounding communities that actually allow potbelly pigs in their communities. I'm not asking for you to change that ordinance. I'm just asking to keep Ginger, our pig. But some of the surrounding areas that allow them, North Newton, they don't have ordinance against them. They don't necessarily have it for them. They just don't have them against them. Park City allows them. Valley Center, Wichita, Topeka, Kansas City, you know, those are bigger areas, but they all allow the potbelly pigs in their community. And so I kind of put in their standards of what needs to be done to keep those pigs in the communities. You know, she's clean, she's quiet, she's in the house most of the time, except, you know, during the day, sometimes, you know, she's outside in our backyard that we have a fence for her and shelter. She, you know, sleeps in the bedroom on a pillow just like a dog would, you know. And on the last page, I have, you know, miniature pig sizes compared to larger breed dogs, and really she's not any bigger than some of these bigger dogs. She's a prey animal, so you know, there's no chance of her becoming violent. You know, I spoke to the communities that allow pigs, and I asked how many violent pig attacks do you have in the last year? And they all kind of just laughed at me. And I said, well, how many dog bites do you have? And almost all of them said daily we have dog bites. You know, the biggest complaints that they had for the miniature pigs is that sometimes they would get loose. And then I think Topeka said that they had complaints that there was like poor shelter for the pig. So somebody had complained that the pig needed, you know, better shelter for the weather. So, you know, the mini pig food that is purchased for the pig, you know, it's made to eliminate any smell that there would be in the pig feces or the pig urine. And when you only have one pig, you really don't have that, you know, you don't have the risk for the diseases and the illnesses of hogs, because there's just one of them, you know, and they're smaller. She's not for meat. We're not going to, you know, butcher her at any point. She's just part of our family, and I'm hoping that you guys will allow us to keep her as that.
How long have you, did you have the pig before you moved here, or
So,
once you moved here?
Yeah, no, we got her after we moved here. When I called animal control to see if we could have pigs within the community, she was on vacation at that time. So I called the police department, and I spoke to 2 different police officers on 2 different times who did say that it was allowed within the community. We found out, obviously, after that they weren't.
Okay.
but we did think we were doing the right thing when we got her.
And you've lived here how long now?
So we moved here in like October 2020. I moved here, I'm a nurse practitioner at Express Wellness, so when that clinic opened, then we moved here for that, so.
Was the animal spayed?
Yes. Oh, I don't think I said that in there, but I can get that to you.
What vet does your pig go to?
So we had been going to Marion, but I just recently found out that Whitewater sees mini pigs, so it's a little closer. So we take her. She rides in the van like a dog. She's a big baby.
And how big or how many pounds is this?
She's like maybe 100 pounds, maybe. I don't know. I don't have a scale for her, and she's she's shorter than my knee. She's like a thick bulldog, really.
Where are you at in the process with the city?
So I spoke to Animal Control called 2 weeks ago, and I explained to her the situation, and she said to start here. She said to come here and speak to you. So.
They haven't given you a day to get rid of pig?
Well, she said tomorrow, because it happened a couple weeks. It was right after your guys' last meeting. She said that we'd readdress it tomorrow. So, yeah.
Well, I think like you heard Kelly say, we can't take any action tonight.
Absolutely.
However, I'm sure this is definitely worth a conversation, that we'll have a conversation about it, more than likely at our next meeting. Does anybody else here have any other?
Yeah, I do think it's worthy of the conversation. What I don't want is just to, which I don't think will happen, but maybe you assurance that no one's going to show up tomorrow with a trailer and haul the pig off, right? So, yeah, I mean, be patient with us. Like, I think we have to talk through it. I do find it interesting that I see lots of dogs that are left in people's backyards that don't have any care at all. So, and many that weigh over 100 pounds as well. I do have a concern, though, with allowing one person to have an animal that is a support animal. I can appreciate that. But then where does that start and stop?
Absolutely.
So I was just looking at the city of Wichita. That's what made me think.
Yeah.
So the city of Wichita has a pretty extensive list of animals that are allowed there. And I mean, I grew up on the north end of Wichita. There was lots of horses that were ridden around the neighborhood in the city. So.
And I hope that you guys do understand. I really thought I was taking the proper steps before we got her. So.
There's no more questions for Ms. Jessica. I believe the city attorney had some comments.
And Commissioner, I would just say, staff's happy to report at the next meeting, but I would caution you against the ask of a specific carve-out for one animal. I would ask you to consider an ordinance citywide, and I think that'll be the staff
Well, and what I was wondering is what
recommendation.
do other cities do in these situations? Is there, registration with a vet, a tag, like you do a dog or whatever? I don't.
Happy to report on that, absolutely.
Yeah.
So more will be revealed later.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening to me.
And thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go around the horn. How about Mr. Stinnett?
Well, caught me off guard.
It usually goes the other way.
Right, I know, it usually goes that way. Gosh. No, it's really neat having youth in the room, listening about government, how things happen, listening about healthy options with regards to the tobacco, the Bike to Work Week, and everything. So it's always great to have kids in the room. So that's what I'm focused on this evening. So thank you.
Yeah, the kids have been incredibly well behaved. I've been impressed with all 4 of them that are sitting over there. I don't bring my 4 kids to these meetings for that reason. We went to another baseball field this weekend. I was telling Suzanne, we had the ribbon cutting last week, right? Today's Tuesday.
Friday.
It was Friday. It was last Friday, yeah. for the new baseball fields, and we went to some fields in South Wichita and played there this weekend. We were there for far too long. It was my first experience as a baseball dad at a tournament, and my goodness, I'll be fine when we don't have those anymore. But just to say how nice our facilities are here, I think that I left there and I thought, I'm ready to get back to Newton. There was no concrete anywhere in the facility. There was very little grass growing on the fields. The fields were all uneven and unlevel. It was hard to catch a ball that was hit on the ground. I don't know what you call those.
Ground ball.
Ground ball.
Makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense. A ground ball. And I watched several of them bounce over kids' heads, into their faces, under their legs, everywhere else. So just, again, I think it's just recognition that while we can't do everything, and I know that when this whole project started, we didn't even do everything I hoped that we would do, it is still such an improvement compared to so many other cities around us, and even for what we had before. So, again, job well done. That's all.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate those comments. And to Commissioner McBroom's point, we did have a grand opening ceremony at Centennial Park for Rayler Field, and so we're very thrilled to have that extra field to be able to be in play. No, well, pun intended, I guess, at this point. And just a reminder that the legislature is going to be going back into session after this slight spring break they took for a veto session. And if you haven't been watching the news, there was a veto by the governor today or yesterday, late evening, about the massive tax bill, the mega bill is kind of how they're referring to it. So there was a lot of local government stuff in the legislature this session, and so we are going to keep on top of it, and we shall see what comes back to the surface in the next couple of weeks when they come back to session.
No, sir.
I would just report that we heard today that the second round of the base grants came out, and we did not receive the base grant funding for Hillside.
Cool.
Just thank you to staff and everyone. Looking forward to looking at the budget material, and to our citizens who have come to see how the wheels of your government turn. Thank you.
It's going to be a big week. The GAF closing will be this week, maybe one of the most historical weeks in Newton history. Certainly, it's going to be up there with almost anything else that's happened. I want to give the Rec Commission a shout out, Joel Smith and his crew, the Ball Diamonds. I may call and see if he can take care of my yard. I mean, it's really wonderful. And again, I want to thank Suzanne for all her she loves being complimented, I know, but for all her hard work on I'm getting the look.
Yeah.
On the ball field, she really has a passion for baseball. I do too, so I totally appreciate all the work that you and your people did.
Group
on
effort.
That, so, and that's all I have, Mayor.
Well, I would like to echo whoever trained these fine young people here have done a fabulous job. Thank you, Mom and Dad. And I also would like to maybe rise up a little more on top of what you said. Mr. Crye, is, if you all remember, a year ago, we dedicated a swimming pool, brand new swimming pool. We now did the Ball Diamonds this last Friday. We have GAF coming up here in the next day or two for a closing for a potential $300+ million investment here at the KLP. We have upwards of close to 800 rooftops either in the drawing stage or early parts of them in the permit stage, and rooftops are appearing. So we really have some pretty phenomenal things happening in Newton on a variety of levels. And I would like to say on a personal level, back to the Ball Diamonds, there were 3 of us there that used to coach our sons out there when there were really only 2 fields. And we tried to have tournaments, and then they would let us have a 3rd field there, which is nothing more than clumps of grass. And what an amazing complex we have now. Back in those days, we used to hold up Fun Valley and Hutch as the one with the 4 ball diamond model, but man, these are sure nice. And we were just reminiscing what that was like with as we were coaching our sons, and now, of course, several of them saying their sons are now coaching their sons, and you know, time marches on for all of us. So, but it was beautiful, and want to thank all of you for coming out, and we will definitely have more discussions about the topics discussed at Citizens Forum, and we will come to some conclusions with that. So with that, thank you, and we are adjourned.